Hello everyone, welcome to the webinar on social media marketing with Zoho Social. I'm Ritika from the Zoho Social team and I'm here to help you make the best use of Zoho Social for your social media marketing efforts. Not just that, we'll also discuss the advantages of getting your social media management tool to talk to your CRM. Alright, let's get a few things in check first. If at any point during the webinar you find it a little hard to follow any of the features that I'm talking about, don't worry. Just type in your questions in the chat panel to your right and I'll answer them right away. This is a pre-recorded webinar, but my colleague and I will be online along with you all to make sure you have a good understanding of the product. And yes, we will definitely send you a recording of this webinar soon after it ends. Before we get started, allow me to tell you a bit about myself. I'm Ritika and I'm a product marketer for Zoho Social. I am absolutely passionate about the social media world and I love the various ways one can creatively market themselves, especially in today's day and age where individuals and brands can easily make use of social media and build on everything that the social media world has to offer, where you as a business can grow and build healthy relationships with your potential customers. Now moving on, yes, we have a little surprise planned for you all. It's a special offer only for our webinar attendees and you won't find this anywhere on our website. So do stay tuned to find out what it is. Alright, let's get started. I actually have a nice little story planned for you all. It's about a woman named Millie who is the owner of Zilker Travels Cafe, which is a travel company with a cafe, and she's looking to market her new cafe on social media. So let me quickly jump to my dashboard. Great. So meet Millie. She spends all day and all night in the kitchen creating the next best cake. But if no one knows about it, it doesn't really matter how great it is, right? So the best way for Millie to promote her cafe would be through social media, because in this day and age, that's where all her customers are. So she heads to the new post feature and gets cracking with all her posts about baking. So over here, these are the social networks that are available for your brand. You can select the social networks that you want to post from. Now, one way of publishing your post is by typing in your content. So for example, Millie can say, grab hold of our latest cupcakes. Let me add a couple of hashtags as well. Hashtag, oh my god, how do you spell chocolate? Hashtag chocolate and hashtag cupcakes. And I want to add a couple of images as well. So let me select this one. Let me add another one. So after you have uploaded your images and your GIFs, you can hit post now and it will go live that instant. Now, if you think that you need some more time to get the content right and publish this post, you can save it as a draft and bounce off ideas with your team and work on it later on. Now, another way of posting is to schedule your posts. You can choose a specific date. So let me say Feb 15th and I choose 9 a.m. and I hit schedule. So now let's look at Smart Queue. This is quite an interesting feature. Suppose you don't have a fixed date or a time in mind at which you want your posts to go out, you can rely on Smart Queue. This feature gives you the best possible dates to publish your post so that you can derive the maximum engagement from your audience. So sorting it based on engagement will show you its likely reach. And sorting it based on time will give you the next best time to publish your posts. And all of this is based on predictive analytics and data mining from our end. And we also have another feature where you can repeat or let's say republish your posts. So let me give you an example. Millie finds out that there's an event coming up in 2 months where she will have the opportunity to tell people about her new venture. Woohoo! So at this event, she gets to set up a stall and exhibit her awesome cakes. Now, she definitely would like her followers to be reminded about it a few times in the days and months leading up to the event, right? So that's where this feature helps. You can use this to set it either weekly or monthly. So let me just choose weekly, and I say every Tuesdays and every Thursday, and I repeat until Feb or March 15th. So it will repeat this current post until this date. So once her posts are published, people start engaging with her, liking her page, her posts, commenting on them, so forth. She can find them all here under live stream. So this is where you can follow a real-time stream of updates to learn how your audience is engaging with your brand. It will show you various types of social activities such as likes, mentions, follows, replies, shares, and wall posts. So here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just a real-time stream of updates. You can click on any of these social activities to get more information about the person or the brand and the kind of social activity they engaged in. That is, which specific post they liked or which post they commented on, and so on. And in terms of CRM, suppose Millie notices someone who just started to follow her brand or let's say liked her tweet. Now Zoho Social automatically adds this user as a connection. And a connection refers to anybody who has interacted with your brand in terms of liking, sharing, commenting, and retweeting, and so on. And I'll talk about all of this more in detail later on. Now coming back to live stream, let's say I click on this social activity. It will give you more details about this user. So there is the follow button. I can directly follow this user on Twitter. And then there is Add to CRM. And you will find this feature called Add to CRM across Zoho Social if you have integrated Zoho Social with Zoho CRM. So when you click on Add to CRM, you will be able to add them as a new lead or a new contact. Now, you can go ahead and input the necessary details as to which company they belong to, their first name, last name, email ID, phone number, and click on Add. Now, associate to existing refers to associating this connections profile to their existing contact on CRM. And if you prefer to do it manually for each contact, this is how you can do it. Or else you can set up work rules for automated lead generation, and I will talk about that towards the end of my webinar. So all of these social activities will give you a lot of contextual information. You can look at the way the individual has engaged with your brand, also take a look at their profile before deciding to add them either as a lead or a contact. Now this way you will definitely be able to see the value that these details provide in helping you grow your customer base. Also, any connection that you add as a lead or a contact will be updated in CRM as well. Now let's go back to this pop-up. I've spoken about the follow button, add to CRM button, and then we have discuss. You can discuss about this person with your team from the collaborate tab over here, and I will show you how collaboration works. Now in this pop-up, you will be able to see the number of times this person has interacted or engaged with your brand. So for example, it says this is the first time Yatish has engaged with Zilker Travels. You will also be able to see their number of followers and the number of people they are following. And there's also something known as Know More About Yatish. So clicking on this will take you to that specific person's connection profile so that you can see more information about them. Like for example, we have the interactions tab over here. So since he has interacted just once with Zilker Travels, we are able to see only just one in a social activity. But otherwise, you will be able to see multiple activities listed over here. Now, you can even look at their social media profile, which is Twitter, and engage with them directly from here. You can like their tweets, you can retweet, or you can even comment on them. And then there's their following, their followers, likes, and so on. And in terms of CRM, this way you'll find various sources of generating leads throughout Zoho Social. Now suppose Millie has interacted with this particular person on social media and they give her their personal contact number, email ID, or let's say through continuous interaction, Millie finds out something interesting, like this user likes chocolate and cupcakes but is allergic to gluten. So you can directly input the details in this personal info section and update it. So let me just add that here. Likes chocolate, cupcakes, but is allergic to gluten. So you can add all of the necessary information here so that the next time you interact with them, you have something to lead with. You can also associate their other social profiles to this connection profile. So let me go ahead and click on Associate Facebook. You can associate either from within your connections list from Zoho Social, and like I mentioned, a connections list shows you a list of everybody who has interacted with your brand. Or you can choose this tab, which is from Facebook, and search for them on this network. You will also find leads and contact labels in different areas of the product, like live stream, and then in connections, monitor, messages tabs, and so on. And I'll talk about all the other tabs soon. So now that Millie's got her baking posts out, it's time to find out if people like what they're seeing. So she heads to brand health. All the social networks she has connected are over here, that is Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and Instagram. She can track the number of followers and active engagers, likes, and see how many people are talking about her cupcakes. So this table gives you a snapshot of your brand's social media performance across social network. Now, keeping a tab on these metrics can help you understand how people are responding to your social media posts. Now, moving on, if you scroll down a bit, you will notice something called recent posts. Now, all the recently published posts by your brand from the various social networks will pop up over here. It could be the same content if you've cross-posted, or it could be different, depending on what you post from which social network. And then there's something called details for every post. And this is where all the beans will spill. So now let's say that Millie was successful in publishing 50 to 100 baking posts and generating interest in her customer base across various social networks. She even decided to promote some of her posts to see their reach. Now, her intention was to derive some form of engagement, and through this engagement find out what kind of posts are working best with her audience, and even further find out if her brand was successful in generating leads. So here is where she comes to find out about all of this. So when you click on details, you get the entire picture. How many likes, comments, shares, retweets, plus ones your posts have gotten, and you can directly respond to them from here. You can also take a look at the basic stats. So there is the total number of clicks, number of people who have shared this post or created stories about it. Not only do you get basic stats, but there's also something known as opt-out, where it shows you the number of people who have reported your post or hidden it from the timeline. Now, in terms of CRM, as a business, you would like to know how many leads you have generated from this particular post, or how many leads or contacts you have engaged with. So clicking on CRM stats will give you that information. And yes, you can also email this particular post detail to your colleagues, or you could export it as a PDF or a PNG file. Alright, now coming to the different kinds of views for your posts, we have published posts here. This is where you can find all your published posts. You can filter this according to social networks and sort this based on date or popularity. So for example, if Millie wants to see the post that has gotten the most engagement on Facebook, she can do that by clicking on this little star button. Now, promoted posts are all the posts that you promote through paid ads on social networks. Okay, so I haven't really promoted anything, so that's why this tab looks empty. Now moving on to schedule posts. All the posts that you schedule, you can even edit them from here or filter it by the team members. You will also be able to see the different types of scheduled posts, that's custom scheduled, bulk scheduled, smart scheduled, or repeat scheduled posts. For field posts, now all of these social networks have certain gates with tokens, and when these tokens expire, that's when posts fail to go out. You will have to reconnect your network, or it could also happen because of publishing duplicate content. So do double check before you publish your posts. And then there is drafts, where you can brainstorm and discuss further about each post idea with your team members. Now moving on to the social media calendar. Here, all your scheduled posts will be neatly organized in a calendar format, making it easier for you and your team members to manage them. So what can you do with it? Number one, you can schedule and plan for future posts by clicking on this little pencil icon. Now, planning posts in advance will give you enough time to craft thoughtful posts and engage with your audience better. Next, you can modify and perfect your posts. So let me go back to one of these scheduled posts and tap on it. So you can go back this way to either rework on it or delete it altogether. You can also jump slots to reschedule. Now, it's very easy to fall into the trap of scheduling too many posts a day. As each social media network works differently, you can organize and spread your posts evenly without running the risk of spamming your audience. Simply pick and drop posts across your calendar to make a good content spread for your audience. Now, there may be times when you'd feel like shifting your focus towards posts that matter to you in that very moment, or maybe wonder which social network is not getting enough attention. So, for times like these, using the filter in the calendar view can be helpful. So, you can select your criteria based on specific authors, schedule type, and the network. And then click apply to see the posts of your choice. So that's about it for the publishing calendar. Now coming to Facebook lead ads. Whether you're a retail outlet, a fashion brand, or an automobile company, the integration between Zoho Social and Facebook lead ads will bring great value to you if you use a Facebook ads account. And of course, yes, if you have a Zoho CRM account, it makes it even better. So let's look at what you can do with it. I'm going to quickly jump to my slide so I can show you. Right, so after you're done setting up your lead ads, Zoho Social will automatically pull in all the ads that you're running from that ad account. You will be able to collect every lead you generate from your lead ads in real time. Now what that means is you no longer have to manually download CSV files from Facebook to view your leads. Also, you can automatically push leads to Zoho CRM from Zoho Social and let your sales team work with them and convert them into customers. You can also view accurate numbers and visual data from which you can derive quick insights into how your lead ads are performing. The number of leads generated, the most engaged demographic for your ads, and the type of devices they are working well on. You can also learn more about your leads by associating them with their social profiles on other networks. You can gain context, interact better, and instantly update details about them within Zoho Social. Now, there are also automatic workflow rules within the tool designed specifically to help you with this. So whether someone likes your ad or comments on it, you can enable these rules to convert them into leads or contacts and push them directly into the sales process. And I'll definitely talk about automatic lead generation soon. Now moving on, your efforts would go in vain if you had no clue whether your leads were contributing to your revenue growth or not, right? And that's why we've made it simpler for you to measure that. You can head to CRM reports from the Reports tab to analyze which campaigns, AdWords sets, or ads are generating the maximum number of leads, and in turn helping you grow your business. So that's about it for lead ads. Let's jump back to the product. All right, great. So moving on, we also have this feature called Bulk Scheduler, where you can schedule large number of posts in advance. So let's say Millie has a vacation plan for the next 2 weeks, but she wants her business to be absolutely consistent on social media and not miss out on engaging with potential customers. So here's when this feature comes in handy. There's a checklist over here that you can follow to upload your files, and we've created a sample template as well for you to upload your content according to the format that's suited best for this feature. You can upload a .csv file or a .xls and click on schedule. So with this, you can save a lot of time and effort by uploading multiple posts all at once according to your preferred dates, and Zoho Social will take care of the rest. Okay, so now that Millie has published and scheduled her posts, she wants to learn more about what's going on in her industry. In fact, Millie has been talking about her participation in the bakery event that's going to be held in New York. She has done her research about some of her competitors, but she would like to take a closer look at some of their social activities or maybe the marketing strategies that they're using to promote themselves. So how can she do that? One way is to Google them all. Another way is maybe to go to each social network and dig in. But the easiest and the most effective way to do this would be through Zoho Social's Monitor tab. So let's see how. You can find all the various things you want to track here by clicking the orange plus button. Now let me tell you that every social network has a particular type of column that you or your team members can add. So for example, for Facebook, you can add a column where you can view people's posts on your Facebook wall. You can track who is mentioning your brand on Twitter with this column, and then Instagram has hashtag search, user search, and so on. And then there's leads and contacts for CRM integration as well, and we will come back to this shortly. So let's say Millie chooses the Instagram hashtag search column because she knows that many of the participants of the event and her competitors are using the hashtag baking. With this particular column, she can keep track of all the posts and updates relating to the hashtag baking. She can then scroll through the feed to see how her competitors are promoting their baked goods, or she can also check if there's anyone looking to bulk order cupcakes for a birthday party. So this is for Instagram. Let's try this for Twitter. And I say hashtag baking. If you find someone who could be a prospective customer, you can even add them to your CRM from right here and let your sales team take it forward. So let me just click on save and add this to my monitor section. So now that you have added them as a lead or a contact, you will like to monitor them, right? So in this column type, that is leads and contacts, you can view updates like Twitter mentions, Facebook wall posts, Google Plus comments on your posts from all your leads and contacts. You can also filter to view these updates from these social networks. And you can check CRM filters to view posts only from your leads or contacts or just your customers. So this way, you can personalize and add columns that matter most to your business. So in this monitor screen, you can see various columns already added. Now suppose Millie is interested only in her brand at the moment. She will look at this column, that is Zilker Travels post. So all the posts related to the word Zilker and Travels will appear in this column. You can feel free to discuss any of these posts with your team members by clicking here. Now suppose Millie spots an interesting profile or an interesting hashtag in Monitor. Let me find an interesting hashtag. Alright, so we have hashtag travel here. And she decides that it's very important that she tracks this particular hashtag. Maybe it could lead her to something profitable. So you will find updates from Google+, Instagram, and Twitter. You can click on Monitor to add that to your monitor screen. Now, this is possible not just with hashtags, but users as well. So you will find this feature across the product. Wherever you are, you will always have some form of context to either start a conversation or build a relationship with them. Now, another interesting feature that's part of this tab, and I'm quite sure you'll be fond of this, is the advanced keyword search for Twitter. So with this, you can filter and narrow down your Twitter keyword search results to focus on only those tweets that are relevant for your business. So you can filter based on content, you can exclude keywords, include retweets, or choose the type of media posts you want to see. You can filter based on people, whether it's specific users, verified users, or mentions. You can enter any location to see where your tweets are trending and so on. So after you're done setting your criteria, click Apply and you'll find exactly what you're looking for. Also, as long as you're in the Monitor tab, all your saved columns will automatically show you the number of real-time new posts as an orange badge right at the top. So when you click on the badge, it refreshes the column to show you the latest posts and updates specific to that column in Monitor. Now, previously, you could only view independent tweets that would show up in your Twitter columns. It would have been very difficult for you to find out whether they were part of an ongoing conversation or not. But now, you can view conversations and see the original tweet that started it all. So the threaded view of these posts will give you more context for every conversation that you choose to take forward. You can engage right away by liking, retweeting, or commenting. So now let's say Millie wants to control what she sees first the moment she heads to the Monitor screen. So in this section, she can choose to reorder columns by dragging and dropping columns, instead of scrolling through all of these columns to find her most favorite one. Also, reordering will not change the view for all the social users. It affects only your view. So when I drag and drop, it changes only for me. So this way, you can monitor a lot of things relevant to you and your industry by adding various kinds of columns. Now coming back to Millie's example, suppose she interacted with a prospective customer from the Twitter keyword search column that is #baking, and she decides to send Millie a private message asking about the prices of cupcakes, or is just looking to discuss important details about the birthday party and so on. Where would she go then? Millie heads to the Messages tab. So she can not only engage with her from here, but also keep a tab on the interactions that she's had with her brand, update her contact information, or let's say if it's a Twitter profile, she can even view their recent tweets. Now, Messages is where you can view private messages that come into your Facebook and Twitter inboxes. You can also use the filter over here to view your Facebook messages or your Twitter messages, and also see messages from your leads and contacts. So knowing your customer is very important. It could create a really good brand image for you, and to further help you with that, we have connections. So like I already mentioned, this refers to anybody who has interacted with your brand across multiple social accounts in terms of liking, sharing, commenting on your posts, tweeting, or sending direct messages to you. So Zoho Social will automatically update your connections list with everyone who interacts with you, and you can see and manage all of them from here. And by all of them, I mean those you add as CRM leads and CRM contacts as well. So let me very briefly go over the 7 different views of connections. So over here we have all connections, and this refers to everybody who interacts with your brand. Moving on to recently engaged are those connections who have engaged with your brand recently. Most engaged are connections who interact with your brand more often than most other connections. Followers are connections who follow your brand on only Twitter and Instagram. And following are connections you or your brand follows on Twitter and Instagram. And when you integrate CRM with Zoho Social, you can see 2 more views. That is CRM Leads. And CRM Leads are connections who have provided their contact information and have the potential to be converted into CRM contacts. And CRM contacts are leads that you have already contacted and have ongoing interactions with. And you can also keep a tab on your muted and blocked Twitter accounts from here under restricted accounts. And if you want to see connections from a specific social network, you can filter and choose from here. So let's say that Millie's published posts have generated a good amount of engagement with those coming to the event in New York. And Millie's guesses that these people are more engaged with her brand compared to the others. So she goes ahead and clicks on the most engaged connection view and filters the social network to, let's say, Twitter. So by viewing this list, she can choose which connections to add either as a new lead or a new contact based on their interaction with their brand. So this is one of the many sources of lead generation, and like I said, you will find this throughout the product. So now let's look at CRM leads and CRM contacts. So the integration between Zoho CRM and social will give you or your business additional ways to manage your sales relationships. Now what I mean by this is that you will not have to continuously pester them for more information when they interact with your brand on social media, because you will be able to see their contact details as well as their interactions across channels. So this way you will have access to all the contextual information that you need to build better relationships with your potential customers. Now, contextual information in the sense that you can view posts from various social networks, all their followers and the ones that they're following on Twitter and so on. You can view connection details to learn more about a connection over here. Now let's look at this tab, that is CRM Info Tab. You can use the CRM Info Tab to view CRM details and make progress towards a sale. So over here you will find information that's available in Zoho CRM as well. The connection's contact details, the owner of the connection in CRM, and in this case it's me. And you can chat with the connection CRM owner through the ping feature. And since I'm the CRM owner of this contact, you can't see the ping icon here, but you can use it to learn more about them. In the sense that as a Zoho Social user, you can share relevant information with the CRM owner to help them bring in more business. Or as a user, you can get information from the CRM owner with respect to the specific lead or contact. Now what's more is that you can develop your existing relationships or build new ones purely based on interactions from social media. So this way, if it were Millie, she could sell more and create more value for her business by passing on information that she gets from social media to her sales team. Moreover, how easy would it be for Millie to just ping them or add notes from Zoho Social itself, right? So for example, let's say she added this connection as a contact after interacting with him from her monitor screen. And then she adds a note here saying, let's follow up with him. She adds a title and clicks add. And let me tell you this, when you make changes in Zoho Social, there are certain things that get automatically updated in your Zoho CRM account as well. Like when you add a connection as a lead or a contact, or when you enter details like the name, company, and so on, while manually adding them as a lead or a contact, and when you make notes about them. So with all this information about a connection, your sales team can move this relationship forward. Now you can also discuss about a connection with your team members by clicking on discuss. So when you do that, it will direct you to the collaborate tab. So let me tag somebody, say Lauren, and say cupcakes baked and ready to be delivered. And then I click on share. So over here you can share your thoughts with either everybody who's part of your brand or just with a set of specific individuals with the help of this feature that's called custom share. Now portal admins and brand admins are selected by default. You can go ahead and select the members that you want to share with and click done. Also, all conversation threads have a unique label assigned to them, from discussions, drafts, posts, connections, or reports. So filtering your feed from here, this way will make it easier for you to identify what you're looking for. You can also glance at your team members' profiles by clicking on their names or their profile icons to see all that they have chosen to share with you. So, to sum up, you will find the option to discuss across the product. You can brainstorm and come up with awesome content with the help of your team members, update each other about the different things you're working on, share insights that you get from social media, and plan your marketing efforts accordingly. Now, to stay up to date with all the internal discussions, you can click here. That is team notifications. So this way you can be sure to not miss out on any important discussions with your team. Speaking of notifications, next to team notifications are social media notifications. So whenever someone comments on your post, sends you a message or follows you, all of that will appear in notifications. Alright, so the recipe ends here. Cupcakes parceled and sent out for delivery. What did Millie's customers say? Did they like it? Did the cupcakes taste good or maybe not so good? How can Millie find out? She heads to the reports tab. Great, so this is where she comes to know what has worked for her brand and what hasn't. You can analyze the impact of your social media marketing efforts over here. So first up, let's look at basic stats. You will find reports for all the social networks that show you stats about how well your brand is performing, how many fans you've gained or lost, and how frequently content on your page was viewed. And you can choose what kind of graphical representation of data you'd like to see, whether it's a bar graph or a pie chart. We also have advanced reports or analytics. Now these are insights based on the kind of content that you have published. So you can check your social outreach, what kind of content is working best for your business, when best to post, what your connections are saying about your brand and your key connections and so on. Now under standard reports, you can filter and view reports of the social network of your choice, whether it's Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Instagram, or CRM reports. And you can also filter the time frame to view your reports. That is past 7 days, 15 days, 30 days, or all time. And if you'd like to discuss any report with your team members, you can do that from here. That is the discuss option. And then you can export this particular report as a PDF file or a PNG file and send it via email. Now, suppose in the weeks leading up to the bakery exhibition, Millie decides to analyze what kind of content is working well with her followers. She can head here. So you click on Create Custom Reports, and she can choose which stats and analytics she wants to see for which social network. So let me go ahead and create a report right now to show you. So for Facebook, let's say Millie chooses social outreach to see her brand's reach in terms of posts published, posts viewed, and so on. For Twitter, let's say she chooses additional stats to get more information about her followers. For LinkedIn, she chooses verticals of my followers to check what kind of background they come from and so on. For Google Plus, she chooses content that's working best. And for Instagram, she chooses brand performance to check how her brand is doing on Instagram. And then she goes ahead and gives this report a title. So let's say Zilko Travels Cafe Report number 1. And goes ahead and saves it. Cool, so it says, got it, we've added this to your reports. Thank you very much. Now, we also have something known as scheduled reports. You can send the reports that you have customized to your team members either daily, weekly, or monthly. You can set the time and click save. You can change the file type as well to either PDF or PNG. And you can also edit this particular report to add more team members or a personalized message to go along with it, set the date and the time, the format to be sent in, and click schedule. Oh, and by the way, you can create unlimited reports with Zoho Social. Now, the beautiful part about Zoho Social and Zoho CRM integration is that you can view more than just stats and analytics. Zoho Social has reports based on the leads and contacts you generate. So let's head there. That is CRM reports. So let's say Millie has a few questions regarding how her business is doing, and you probably do too. So for example, how can I differentiate leads generated from social media versus those from different sources like emails? Or which social network is helping my business get revenue? Or what kind of posts are doing a good job of selling my product? So the answers to these questions lies in integrating Zoho Social with Zoho CRM, where you can follow social media updates and engage with your audience better. So there are 4 columns here, as you can see. There's leads from social actions, contacts from social actions, potentials, and revenue. Now, under leads from social actions, you can view the day, the lead name, lead owner, and the lead source. Similarly, for contacts from social actions. And then for potentials, now potentials are basically the number of sales opportunities or deals made with your CRM contacts. The leads or contacts that you add either from Zoho Social or CRM has its potential pulled up from CRM, and it's shown here. Now clicking on those potentials will take you to Zoho CRM directly. Now let's say Millie wants to track whether people from social media are actually buying her cupcakes. So she checks out the revenue column and finds out that they're selling like hotcakes. Revenue, in simple terms, is the amount generated through potentials that are won. You can click on source over here to view which social media network is helping your business. You can also sort it to view the leads generated from a time frame of your choice, and you can again email this particular report or export it as a CSV file. So that's it about reports. I spoke to you about generating leads directly from social media, where you can do it manually through the Add to CRM feature. Now, an alternative to manually adding connections as leads or contacts is to use the automatic lead generation feature. So you head to Setup and you click on Brand Settings and navigate to the Lead Generation tab. Over here, you will see a list of lead generation rules organized into 4 columns, that is, social actions, criteria, add as, and status. For these social networks, that's Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. That's available in Zoho CRM. Now, the social action column lists the various actions that might occur on a social network, including likes, comments, tweets, mentions, plus ones, and direct messages. The criteria column consists of detailed work rules about which actions will trigger Zoho Social to add a connection as either a lead or a contact. And you can even add specific keywords to any rule by clicking on Add Keyword. For example, if someone comments on my page posts with keywords such as love, awesome, or support, I can add them either as a lead or a contact. Now in this Add As column, you can choose if you want connections to be automatically added as a CRM contact or a lead. The toggle switch over here in the status column allows you to turn each work rule on or off. Now green indicates that the rule is active and gray indicates that is inactive. Now Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus each have specific social actions that you can generate leads from. And if you feel this would be better for your business, you can set work rules to automate the entire lead generation process for your business. Great, so now that we are in the setup section, I will briefly go over the various settings. Now before we go over the settings, I'd like to mention this. If you want to add more brands to your portal, you can click on this drop down and click on Add Another Brand. And if you've already added brands, you can very easily switch from one brand to another from here. So if you have multiple pages and profiles per social network, you will have to create additional brands and connect each page or profile to that brand. And each brand consists of 5 social networks. That's Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Now coming to brand information. Simply put, brand information consists of information about your brand. You can select which link shortener you want to make a default one. Moving on to social networks. You can view all the social networks your brand is connected to over here. You can disconnect a social network anytime you'd like. In roles and permissions, you can create new roles for your brand and assign permissions to those roles. For example, all brand admins and users will have all of these permissions by default. However, for the other roles, you can choose what they can have access to. Now in brand members, in Zoho Social, you can have multiple team members managing different brands. So as the portal admin, you can invite members, assign roles to them, and you can manage members and settings of all the brands, whereas brand admins can manage users and settings only for that particular brand. So this is how you can change roles and assign social networks that they can manage. You can also remove them from this brand by clicking on the cross icon here. Moving on to notifications. There are 4 types of actions that users can receive email notifications for. When a scheduled post goes live on social networks, when a scheduled post fails to go live, when a social network gets disconnected from Zoho Social, and when someone mentions them in a comment or a discussion. You can also receive notifications from these social networks as well for these particular social actions. And of course, if you'd like to add a member, you can do that as well. So let me show you how. Moving on to all members. Over here, you will find the list of everybody who is and who was a part of this portal. And if you'd like to assign brands to team members, you can do that as well from here. There we go. Great. So, to summarize, we looked at how important it is to build your brand's presence on social media because that's where most of your customers are. You will discover customers that you never knew existed. We also looked at how integrating your CRM with social media can help you find new opportunities for generating leads, finding customers, and building rapport with them. Now, in a time where social media does most of the talking, monitoring your social media marketing efforts and engaging with everybody to sell more is exactly why your business can use Zoho Social integrated with your Zoho CRM. And finally, coming to the surprise, we have a special limited time offer on our annual plans for all our webinar participants. The already existing annual plan gives 2 months as discount. So if you decide to sign up for our annual plan now, we will offer you a discount of 5 months. So all you have to do is send us an email at support@zohosocial.com after upgrading to the annual subscription, and we'll take it up from there. I'd like to mention that you can also generate leads from the Zoho Social mobile app. It's available on iOS and Android phones. Feel free to get in touch with us anytime. If you enjoyed this webinar or if you'd like to share your experience with Zoho Social, tweet to us at Zoho or use the hashtag Zoho Social, and I will find you and respond to you from my monitor screen. You can also write to us at support@zohosocial.com. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a lovely day.